are going to get rolling here. Welcome live from the Box Studios. Here we are with the November 2025 webinar. We're going to do a market update and, awesome stuff here later on where Ellie's going to go over some stuff here where we've had many conversations with some of our top advisors, and we're going to figure out ways to bulletproof and scale your business. And bulletproof we mean by making sure that customers never leave. Okay, so yes, I am Scott Ebeling. I'm head of energy strategy and client solutions here at Box, and with me is Allison Black. She's the manager of the pricing and strategic solutions team. Always a tongue twister for me. Today we're going to talk about Box, do a little market update, and discuss how to grow your business, and provide a couple closing thoughts there on that. So with that, let's take it away, Ellie. Let's talk about Box for all the newbies on the call here.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. And thank you, everybody who has called in to share your Wednesday morning with us. We're so happy to have you. In case you don't know very much about Box, maybe this is your first Box webinar, and maybe you're new to the energy space, we want to formally introduce ourselves. Box, our broker online exchange and app direct company, is your ultimate commercial energy brokering partner. Our mission is really simple. It's to power the energy marketplace through technology, delivering unbiased access, real-time pricing, and intelligent support to every player in the ecosystem. Whether you're a broker, consultant, referral partner, supplier, or energy consumer and user, our platform is built to connect, simplify, and supercharge your energy decisions. Box has become the largest network of energy agents, brokers, and consulting firms in North America, so our network is huge. And we connect a variety of diverse energy partners so each can benefit from those relationships and streamlined, efficient options in deregulated gas and electricity. You can see how you can scale your business in those deregulated markets in the map that we're showing on the screen. We have some natural gas options available in green, some natural gas and electricity options available in blue, and then you'll see some darker grays out through the West, Midwest area and over in Oregon. Those are areas where we have some limited availability. The lower 48 is deregulated for natural gas, but customers have to be really, really big in those areas. They have basically have to move away from the utility supply and get a supplier who's willing to transport the gas that they need to that area. We do have suppliers in those areas. We can help with those deals. So if you have customers in these areas, or if you have only focused on one of these areas and are perhaps looking to scale your business, expand into another, you want to know, what's going on in New England because you've only sold in PJM, or you want to know what the heck an energy only market is in Texas and why the costs are so high as compared to all of the other areas where we have capacity markets. Those are things that we can help with. And we can help with that mainly through our intelligence, through our strategic services desk, through our dedicated account managers who are always here to help you, and through our supplier relationships and all of the benefits that they give us. So on the next slide, you'll probably see a lot of brands that you're familiar with if you're in the energy space, and maybe some even if you're not in the energy space. You might be familiar with TXU or Champion Energy, Direct Energy. We also partner with some cutting edge partners who are newer, CPV, and some of those guys. Shell is another big name a lot of people are going to recognize. We absolutely owe it all to our brokers and our supplier partners. We love being the go-between that coordinates and finds the best fit energy supplier between an end user or a broker who we're working with and the supplier that is going to meet their needs, going to build them a product that's going to perform for them, and going to be able to support them throughout the tenor of the contract with good service, solid billing, et cetera, et cetera. So these are a few of the supplier partners that we work with. We actually work with, I think, 80 or 90 of them. There's been some consolidation in the space. So we used to work with well over 100, but happy to have these, absolutely happy to have these guys, and happy to leverage our supplier relationships and put that to work for you guys. The other big thing that we want to talk about, just Scott and I, is our strategic solutions team. We develop tailored strategies, data-driven insights. We help optimize pricing, and we do have a reverse auction platform. We negotiate contracts and provide seamless client support and proactive solutions. Really, our goal at Box in general is to make you a rock star in front of your customer, whether it's administrative support or market intelligence or just a question about getting actually into components and why does this look that way? What is this cost? We're here to be your energy experts. We're here to really be behind the scenes. We're just here to support whatever it is that you need to better serve your customers. So we're going to talk a lot about the best practices that we see with some of our most successful energy brokers and consultants a little bit later. But for the intelligence portion of this webinar, I will pass it back to Scott.
Thank you, Ellie. Yes, stick around. Good stuff coming up here. So let's go to a market update. Very crazy markets this month. Here's the monthly change, yearly change. You see this. We also send this out in a weekly update. Hopefully you guys are receiving that. You'll see it on LinkedIn. Hopefully it's coming through to you guys in email too, to all our broker partners. But with this, including charts. So with this is, you see the prices here. Big movements here on the monthly last month in all the markets, especially in New York, New England, Midwest, Mid-Atlantic. But in Texas a little bit, big moves up, much more so than really what we'd expect for the gas on this. Technically, a 27-cent movement in gas should equate to about 20 to 30 or $2 to $3 movement in power at most. And we've had big outsized gains in that. So with that, I just want to discuss this with you guys as well. I mean, we put out some stuff out there and we really work hard with our clients and recommendations. And this is focused here on 2026 gas. That's the one coming up. We try to get all of our all of our layered hedge customers, especially we have many that are Fortune 500 customers, and even larger municipalities, all these things, and even just, medium-sized manufacturers we have on this layered hedge product. But we definitely, even if they're not a layered hedge product, in 2026 open position, we try to recommend heavily that they're hedged by October 15th. We put out the warnings. We discussed this heavily in the last webinar, because we were right around that period, October 15th, talking about the danger zone. And you'll see here, this is where we were at here in gas for 2026. And you also saw in our chart, and we've had this big move up since that point down here at these bottoms. We also put out some stuff here we're talking about around here, saying, hold off on buying in about mid-July, mid to late July until September Labor Day period, just because we saw the summer kind of ending. So just give it a plug there to make sure you listen to our webinars and listen and read our stuff going out. We got blog posts that are out there. We got the weekly reports being put out there. We go into this pretty in depth and these recommendations. But definitely, when you get past October 15th, it's a lesson going into, you got open position next year. Remember, you're managing a short position for a customer. The customer has a short position, and it gets very, very volatile. That calendar year coming in there, especially because of the winters are part of that calendar year, and the prices. We always see a pretty good movement up somewhere along the line between October 15th and mid-November, and we definitely saw it this year. So with that, let's just go look. We got a new chart here we're going to put out here now in the weekly reports, and just want to highlight it here. This is the monthly Henry Hub average monthly settlement price. This is the price where it settles at for a month before it goes in. It's kind of similar to a cash position, index position, whatever. If you're an index gas customer, this is kind of how you're going to be settled against. But this just shows kind of the flows in that again, and this 337 over the last, or 294 the last 3 years. Keep that in mind as well. But you'll see this, and these will start going higher here. We expect. Here's a PGM again, same kind of movement here. Boom, you see this mid-October, shot right up. So these heat rates explode. PGM historical monthly index last 3 years averaged 40.35. And Texas Power, here we are again. Maybe it shoot up here, and especially in the Cal 26, 27, 28 still out there. Want to highlight something here in gas. Well, we're going to go into that in a second. Yeah, okay. And then index prices here in ERCOT still just nothing going on. 38.98 is a 3-year average, but man, you take out that August 23 in there, and really it's going to be closer to $30-31. But we barely budged out of $30 all in the past, or even 40 or 50, all the way since September of 23. So it's one reason why I think ERCOT prices are overpriced, and here's another reason why. This is a chart here we've been developing and just kind of showing the heat rate. The similar sort of thing will show if you look at Henry Hub prices and natural gas prices in Henry Hub. It's more similar in Texas because we're closer to Henry Hub prices versus in PJM as basis gas. It's kind of pushing out the curves. We think PJM prices are relatively fairly valued right now, for the most part. Fairly to relatively neutral, I would say. So I wouldn't necessarily go in, but gas is a screaming buy. We haven't really had much movement here at all in the outer years. This is 2020, 28 gas. This is 2028 power. Here's the gas price on the side. There's the power prices on the other side. Assuming that these should clear around a 10 heat rate, which in sense they actually clear under right now, but we'll give Texas the benefit of the doubt. And this gas here is just, we think the power is way overpriced here in ERCOT, coming in at $56. We've had many things where we think that there's going to be just because there's a bunch of data centers that have to come online, that there is also has to be generation to meet that. So they're not going to just throw on all this generation, have a negative reserve margin, and there's going to be blackouts. That's just not how the systems work. That's not how they manage it. So we expect this price here to be, it's overpriced. It's fairly priced, maybe more in that mid 40 area at the current gas prices. Now, that being said, we do think gas is underpriced. So as gas prices move up, power prices can move higher. But at current gas prices, we see it here. We think this is extremely undervalued here. This is 2028 gas. 2027 is just slightly higher in gas. And you're going to see the same kind of like outrageous price movements here. A lot of this is euphoria going on with the whole data center thing. It's the headlines. Hedge funds are plowing the power. Never seen that before, and wasn't happening in my trading career when I was one of the few traders of a hedge fund and for power. So now all of them are trading it, and not all of them have necessarily knowledge of how the market dynamics work. But that being said, gas is a screaming buy, and we think the Texas power is overpriced. So at the very least, if you have an open position, I would definitely be hedging out gas for the foreseeable future, because there's fundamental issues blocking out. Now we're getting the fundamentals here. This is gas storage here. We're pretty much coming up near the highs here. We're going to finish up right at these levels here. Very similar to what we hit in 2024 in gas. But remember, and I'll show you this next chart here. So this is 2024 gas, and compared to 2024, 2025 compared to 2024. So we see we have this big path here, right? So what I want to get to on this is we were here, same point we were last year, yet the winter draw dropped us all the way down to here. So that can easily happen again. There's even more demand now. There's a couple more BCF of demand from LNG. There's more demand from power gen. So this can happen again if not go lower. And last year's winter wasn't historically super cold, but this can happen. Now, what's amazing is we made this big move up. It's a huge move here of around 650 BCF we made up. Great. And that's good that happened. This natural gas rig count has went up, starting here. Remember, it's always like a 6-month lag. And with that, you see here, we're going to start creeping up. And now we're starting getting big production. This is 110.6. These are huge records, 2 BCF over. Market reaction to like, hey, yeah, we need to start, demand's going to start picking up here for winter. and they're reacting. We've been saying all along how there's much more flexibility now with the net gas producers, and it's going to continue on. This is just they've got the ability to, they got cap wells, they've got it all. They're timing it now right to monetize their book much better than in years past. So this is going to go up in the seasons, and going to go down in the seasons. We got that ability to do that now. This is natural gas demand growth. We're actually researching and updating this, make it's going to be even more scary. But we're looking to update this. And these are kind of the growth scenarios through 2030 and that we have right now. And this is LNG, the low point, around 6 more BCF, 7.4, and 1.0 in Mexico airport. So this is 14 BCF between now and 2030. That's on the low end of projections of the growth scenario for natural gas demand. That means gas production needs to go up that much as well. And then there's the medium case that hits around 20 BCF. So yeah, that's why we're going to be seeing gas sticking around as a floor around that 450 area, which the cals in the back are under that. So that as a floor, and we've been mentioning that for a while. So keep that in mind. Some box market insights here that we want to highlight over the last month. One is Amazon small nuclear modular reactor, talking about tripling its planned reactor sites to 12 units, 960 megawatts. Again, not really moving the needle heavily, 960 megawatts. But construction has gone full in phases, not really ready until the 2030s. Yes, nuclear, and this is why we want to remind everybody. This is just for the small modular reactor. We still don't even have any new plans for any new, regular traditional nuclear sites here that really have been planned or in the planning or development stage. Yes, there's talking about financing and doing this and that. These are long-term projects, and it's not. And there's a big short-term need here for power. So it's really not going to be move fast enough to solve the surge in data center and electrician-driven demand. LNG export surge. We're kind of like there's some stuff here about LNG exports that a couple things that isn't talked about all that much. One is, and this one here highlights we're talking about. We see there's potential political backlash. We can see that down the road if we're facing gas prices $6-7 and all the affordability kind of issues that are going on, and politically it's taken up as really the #1 issue. And all of a sudden people's gas and power bills go up, and it's $200-300 a month more. There's gonna be some backlash here of like, why are we exporting 30 to 40% of our gas production? So there's gonna be potential backlash. The other thing too is that, and it's not highlighted here in this market insight, but we've highlighted before, is the potential for an LNG glut worldwide. We're not the only ones massively building out our LNG export infrastructure. So is Qatar, Australia does as well. And so with that, making sure it's there. I mean, obviously we're one of the cheaper producers right now, but Qatar is right behind us as well. And then, chip efficiency breakthrough. There was some news report last week about it was at MIT using microwaves instead of traditional digital circuits. So much more compute. This is something here that I think China's ahead of us on. And this is really where the focus should be at, heavily, in big investments here, because this is what's in the end. I think this is what's going to help us if we want to be an AI dominant country. is by having better efficiencies, and I believe it's going to happen. It's just a matter of there's a lot of resources going there, a lot of investments, and there's a big carrot out there to make that happen. Because I really don't think I think it's relatively impossible for the United States to meet the current low growth projections for AI needs of what they need, and versus what we can actually going to be able to deliver in the end. So we really need these chip efficiency breakthroughs, and they'll keep coming in and getting better and better and better. And it's going to be very interesting to see if we build out a lot of this infrastructure for the grid, if it's going to be needed in 10 to 15 years, and how much will be needed. That's another thing that we're looking at, but we don't look down that far with our customers. We look at really the next 4 to 5 years, and with that, we expect, with all the investment going in the grid infrastructure and everything, those are the things prices are going to go up, is demand-led charges. So that's the stuff that we're going to work with the customer on, and Allie's going to go into that in a few minutes. And finally, interconnection queue bottlenecks remain a major constraint in new generation, kind of going back to the chip efficiency thing. This is really shows you that the recent interconnection queue, average wait times are now exceeding 5 years for new projects to receive approvals and grid connection upgrades. We're getting calls all the time about, hey, help me get in front of the queue. How do you get, I need 100 megawatts of power, 50 megawatts of power, 200 gigawatt, whatever. We're getting these calls, and this is where we're just, it's just not going to happen. I mean, these are projects that are much shorter, political cycle than we do a capital cycle. Capital cycle is much longer. You need a capital cycle of 15, 20 years on these projects to make sure they're pay off, versus we're not sure how politics go, and it's really up in the air, like I said, to see how much is really needed. So that's that. We'll go on here. Just want to talk to you. We got a great little blog post out there recently put out about be more than an energy broker, be a trusted energy consultant. That is, a lot of this is what Allie's going to be going over, but you can read it here. Get the PDF, by the way, is in the webinar file here. So pull that out and you can see that. And finally, just gaining competitive edge with Box. We have the weekly market updates. We have many market reports. We can also put together customer presentations for you. We see these Box logos out for the customer presentations. We can put your logo on there. Allie, myself, the rest of the team, Trevor, Seth, we can all put these together for you guys, and cool charts and all that stuff. So, and then the weekly energy market update, it's really valuable for you guys to put out there, and talk about. Hopefully someday we can get those, or we can white label those as well for our team. So Allie, I'm gonna catch my breath and have a couple sips of coffee here and let you take it away here. I'm talking about advisors can bulletproof and scale their business.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. Great intelligence as usual. Thank you for sharing all of those pieces with us. I feel like all of these webinars are so useful, not only for catching up on the market, getting to know Box, these are so much fun. We're going to go into how our top advisors bulletproof and scale their business. Now, it might be helpful to know that back a decade ago, maybe two, whenever markets started deregulating, one of the ways that energy brokers really started to get into the space and into deregulated markets was the education angle. So knowing that from the very beginning, whenever these industries are deregulating, that's confusing for customers. Customers want expertise. They want somebody to guide them through this process. They don't just want a rate. And customers who are only shopping rates are doing themselves a disservice. And that's something that we can go into a little bit later as well. But really, the thing number one that we want you guys to focus on is moving from a broker mindset to a consultant mindset. Being a consultant builds stronger trust, you have higher retention, and you differentiate yourself away from all of the transactional guys who are really just there to make a sale. So understanding what your customer is actually looking for, understanding if they need budget certainty, or if they're just wanting a rock bottom price, and making sure that you're educating them on the value of being a retail energy customer, as opposed to just staying with the utility and paying what the utility wants the customer's entire rate class to pay. There's a huge value proposition, just the fact that retailers exist and are willing to give the customer individual billing so that the customer only pays their exact cost. We can then do a component analysis with you. We can help you figure out if the customer should pass through capacity or hedge 50% of their energy or look at something a little bit more seasonal. And we combine that with all of our market intelligence and our insights. But that process only works if you guys can give us good information as far as what the customer is looking for, what their goals are, what their plans are over the next 1, 2, 5, 10 years. This is a long game, and we want you guys to kind of take a long view on it. The longer a view, the more value you're able to realize for your customers. So really looking at it from a consultative standpoint and using all of the intelligence that we have, using all of your knowledge from being in these markets every single day, and leveraging your relationship with the customer, what you know about them, what you know about their business, and start talking through, okay, well, maybe this is a different way that we could help you. All of these things are in service to your customer. You want to consult with your customer. You want to help your customer. So whether their goals are plugging in some ESG and becoming more renewable, or saving a little bit of money, or just really having a plan for the next 5 years because they're seeing some really scary headlines out there. We're able to move from a transactional to a consultative mindset by equipping you with enough education, with enough information, with enough market intelligence to contextualize all of these things that are happening really, really quickly in the energy market. It's a rapidly changing space, so that the customer understands and is educated enough that they can make a decision. They actually can make a decision themselves, and they understand what it is that they're signing, understand what it is that they're choosing, and they feel, they understand and feel comfortable with the plan and with the strategy, the playbook that you've put in front of them. The next piece that we want to highlight is actually post-term. So deepening your customer relationship all the way through the term of the contract. Customer service and your relationship with the customer, your communication with the customer should not end whenever the customer signs the document. There are a million different ways to follow up with your customer, whether that's saying, hey, we got the countersigned document from the supplier. I just wanted you to have it. You may be getting some welcome notes from them just because you're going to be a new customer for them, and helping to set expectations about what's going to happen, what's going to change if the customer moves suppliers or moved products, those types of things. You're also an expert if the customer does have any questions on their bills. Another great touch point is whenever the customer, you think the customer might be receiving their first bill, you can reach out to us, you can reach out to the customer and say, hey, I know that you switched to direct energy and you were supposed to go live, last month or a month or two ago. I just wanted to check in and make sure, have you been seeing direct energy on your bills? Do you want me to take a look at that and make sure that everything is being billed appropriately? Do you want us to go ahead and do an audit? We did an audit before. Let's do an audit on the back end and really, show our work and prove everything out. That's an awesome touch point. Some other touch points are here below. So billing issue resolution, like we just talked about, reviewing a bill and helping customers make sense of the charges on the bill. If customers have questions, we may or may not be able to actually influence those charges, but at a minimum, we can help customers understand what they are and equip them to go back to the utility if necessary. We deal with new locations and expansions, move-ins, move-outs, all of those types of kind of meter changes if a customer is expanding, buying additional locations, or if they're kind of winding things down, maybe they have to pull out of a certain market, those types of things. We are happy to help with all of that, and that can really end up being a thorn in the customer's side if they haven't pre-negotiated some language. Again, part of setting it up on the front side is that consultative process, making sure that you understand if the customer is in a rapid growth mode and they plan to be, we're dealing with a chain of CC's Pizzas or something like that, and they're looking to double their business over the next 5 years, let's maybe negotiate some add delete language so the customer can bring that on and off, and the supplier is expecting that throughout the term. Those types of things can be pre-negotiated. That's absolutely part of what our strategic desk does, is make sure that the contract is fair to the customer and is going to perform for them over the term, that we set those expectations with the customer and also set them with the supplier, so that the supplier cooperates whenever we come to them with either new load or less load. That supplier performance oversight and understanding, who to talk to about what and how to get things done midterm in the event that you have an issue or need to make a change. Again, your goal is to become the customer's on-site energy department. This is not a one-time transactional interaction. This is something where that customer is a customer that you signed. Let's go ahead and check in with them. And there's a lot of different ways, again, to check in with them, but post-sale, another great touch point is to ask for referrals from your existing network. So we've got a really powerful chart on the next slide that I'm really excited about. But another good thing to do after you've successfully closed a customer, you've gotten them, you've gotten them switched, you've put, you've gotten everything in place. As soon as that, countersigned agreement goes out, you've gotten your deal confirmed, you're celebrating a win with the customer, and they're really happy. They've got a plan for the next 5 years, and they've got a great relationship with somebody that they trust, where if they have questions, they know that they can come to you. That is a great time to ask for more business. Now, we have talked a lot about the power of working as a team and the ways that we can benefit you guys. One of the things that you guys can do to benefit yourselves is to ask for referrals from existing clients in your existing network. Looking at these customer acquisition methods, look at that's a crazy stat. That is a crazy stat that so many customers come from referrals from your existing network. And if you have done a good job for your customer may know other people who could use the same work that you did, and they would be happy to recommend you and say, you know what, actually my next door neighbor has this issue, or I actually know somebody who is complaining about about this because they're working on or for a data center, something like that. We can help. That's the entire goal, is for us to put our expertise and our relationships to work for you and for your neighbors, for your customers, for your friends. If you're not asking for those referrals from your existing network, you're doing yourself a disservice. It is a great time to actually ask for it. And thinking about the different things, the different ways that we purchase as online world and the internet becomes noisier and noisier and more crowded. You can Google search, you can ask ChatGPT, you can go online and you can try to compare rates and plans and everything yourself. But how much better would it be? And I mean, I think if a good friend of mine, if my best friend or if somebody that I worked with said, well, you know what, I did this, maybe check this out, this worked for me. I would absolutely be happy to investigate as long as I know somebody that it's worked for. So it's really, a referral can be very, very powerful in terms of getting your foot in the door. So definitely be asking for referrals from your existing clients, your existing network. This, again, is a great touch point for afterwards. And we have some tips on, like we said, when to ask after reviewing the first invoice, if you've done a successful renewal, if you are celebrating a big customer service win, you had some billing issues, but now we've gotten all of the, we've taken care of all of that. Any meaningful savings or really impactful moments, those are times to say, look, I'm happy to help and I'm always going to be here for you. If you know anybody else who might be able to use my services, I would be really, really grateful if you would either pass my name along or maybe help set up a meeting. However we can talk to more customers, that's our job, is to help. So we are also here to help you with clear documentations of wins, standardized referral outreach templates, messaging. We can help you with some of these messages, with some messaging, with some templates, with pre-made marketing information. If you're needing scripts, if you're needing different ideas for outreach, or kind of different ways to put this in front of your customer, or you want to talk through it before you have that conversation, that's another really good reason to just reach out to us, reach out to your account managers, set up some time with the strategic desk. We're happy to talk about it, and happy to equip you with any information that you think that you might need to really underscore your value and to encourage your existing customers to be able to refer you and articulate the way that you've helped and what it is that you can do really, really clearly and really well. And then another piece, obviously, we've talked about it a lot based on our new relationship with AppDirect and all of the cool connectivity, mobility, efficiency, security, and a million other ways, a million other options for selling and for helping your customer. Obviously, we do natural gas procurement. That is our bread and butter. We also do have those recs that are really easy to plug in and plug onto our existing contracts via existing customers. Our customers are just looking to green up their portfolios and they want to make a rec purchase totally separate of their energy supply, something we can help with too. We've talked about demand response and load management, doing some peak load shaving and load shifting types of work. We're happy to support you in that, and it's absolutely something that as these energy bills get more expensive, all of this becomes so much more attractive, particularly demand response and that peak load shaving, since so much utility cost is demand driven. But also these efficiency measures like LED or efficiency initiatives. We've talked about Tune, we've talked about exact water, we've talked a little bit about demand response and power factor correction. We are rapidly expanding our efficiency portfolio. And so there's a million different ways that you can help your same customer, which provides them with additional services from a trusted advisor and provides you with more opportunities to create revenue off of your exact same customer, your existing relationship. We're absolutely here to help. Again, we provide a dedicated account manager that can assist in coordinating and walking through the different sales processes for anything that's a little bit outside of your usual wheelhouse. We also have AppDirect Sales Desk as a service. This is the easiest thing in the world. It is essentially just saying, listen, I just made a really successful sale. This is the meaningful impact that I've created for my customer. I don't necessarily know what their situation is with internet security, but knowing that they are, knowing the work that they do, this is something that, I know that it's an issue when they have some downtime, or I know that this is another, particularly high cost for them. Really, you can just turn it on, give it to your account manager, give it to the sales desk as a service, and have somebody call out and work that deal, close that deal for you, and all you do is sit there and get paid. And adding that professional touch, knowing, somebody who knows the sales process of any of the products and services that we're able to sell, not only through Box's portfolio, but also through the AppDirect portfolio, is a really powerful tool. Technically, I mean, you can either way. If you're, closing a customer, you can ask them for additional business by selling additional products, services, efficiency measures, or you can ask them for more business by asking for a referral and asking to be able to help and do the exact same work that you just did for them for somebody else and create that same meaningful impact. There's a lot of different ways to expand your business, and we're here to help you do it. That cross-selling opportunity is huge, and we're really excited. We've already had a lot of brokers who are really jumping in feet first to connectivity and mobility options. And like I mentioned, with rising costs across the country, we're really excited to grow out our efficiency portfolio and to start adding some of those products and services. So if that is also exciting to you, or if you have questions about that and want to be an early adopter, get started a little bit earlier, reach out to us. We are happy to have these conversations, happy to educate, happy to equip you with, like we said, whatever you need to deepen your relationship and solve more of the customer's challenges. So really, in summary, we provide you several advantages. Really, we want to be your toolbox to really to equip you with everything that you need and just do a great job for your customer. So our best advisors, our most successful consultants will position themselves as consultants and as advisors, not brokers, not a salesperson or something that's a one-time transaction, a consultant who is there to educate you, understand your needs, and hold your hand through each part of this process. Deliver exceptional long-term service throughout the entire tenor of the contract, which are all supported by Box's processes and our relationships. I don't think I mentioned actually on our on the service slide where we were talking about different ways to help your customer over the term, but Box actually has dedicated departments for each of these types of things. We have a renewal department. We have Box support who is there to help you in addition to your account manager and your sales coordinator and your pricing desk that is also here at your disposal. So we are absolutely here to support you, and hopefully that makes you more confident in terms of asking for referrals and strategically cross-selling these opportunities to expand your business. Ask for more, ask for ways that you can help your customer and make sure that you're doing the most that you can to help them, because why not? It'll give you stickier customers, higher lifetime value, and really truly future-proof not only your business, but help your customers' business as well. And I know Scott had some pieces that he wanted to review as well here. So I'll go ahead and invite Scott. Do you have some things to add here?
Yeah, just one thing. Thanks, Allie. This is incredible stuff here. Again, I want everybody to know the PDF is available within there. You can just pull it out in the webinar. The handouts right there on the control thing. Download it. But so all this stuff, all this information is right there, and you can refer to it. So referrals, I cannot stress this enough how essential this is to grow your business, and it's so simple and it's so easy to ask. It's just timing. It's not that hard. There's always great times to do it. But one thing with referrals is that what it does is if somebody came to me and said, hey, so-and-so recommended I give you a call and talk about this, I'll have a meeting with that person, right? I think we all would, because, hey, so-and-so, somebody else said that I know, recommended I talk to this person. It gets you in the door, which we'll spend hours and hours and hours on a cold call to try to do that. Why not just ask our customers? They know that worst you're gonna get is most likely the worst case scenario you're gonna get from them is yeah, I'll think about that. I'll get back to you. And when you do get a referral and it turns into a customer, the best thing you can do is thank them and say, hey, Allie, thank you so much for referring me to him. We just signed him up to a contract. I really appreciate it. If you just send that note to them or email, that's one thing. But if you further that and just send them $100 gift card or something, some sort of appreciation. If you know what their favorite wine is or what their favorite bourbon is, you send that to them. That even goes even further. And now they're even more likely to give you even more and more and more referrals. Now you got a marketing person out there for you. When we're doing business, any business, we're bringing in customers, the customer acquisition cost. And the main goal is to arbitrage between that customer acquisition cost and what that value of that customer is, right? And you want to have a big positive difference, a solid 5 to 10x, kind of what that is. There's no cost here to ask for a referral. There's hardly any time spent. You're already talking to the customer. So enough about that. And so really just want to go into this as well. And we talk about this. We had this as a question last month, and we want to reframe it a little bit and just say, instead of selling savings, which a lot of us like to do, or a lot of us try to do, and we say that, we lead with that, we're going to save you money. You're hearing that all the time. And it's really important to be different and better than everyone else. And because they're just hearing that message, and then you're not going to be able to show them savings, because savings on what? Their last contract? I mean, prices are up. I don't think they're going to be showing them savings at all. And so instead we reframe it and talk about the value you have working with Box or whoever your firm is. And really just by saying in today's markets, prices are trending higher. The question is not how much money you can save, but really how much money you can avoid overpaying. And you talk about that and then talk about, here's the tools that we provide to do that. It's different than everybody else. Making sure you're buying smarter, securing the most competitive, buying smarter, might be a reverse auction, securing the most competitive rate available, same thing, having the right contract structure, rely on our team, reviewing the contracts, because that's protecting them long term. And really because of the number of volumes that we manage across the country, we have a lot of leverage and we can access better supplier options, pricing leverage, and better terms than most individual customers or brokers can obtain. That's what the difference is. That's going to get you in the door here. And talking about opening doors, and we talked about all the cross-selling and all that, that's really essential because at the end of the day, you're trying to get them on. And what's the number one thing you hear from a customer is, what is it, Allie? It's basically like, sorry, I just signed a contract, or my contract's not due till December of 2028. And most brokers will, and consultant advisors will just, oh, okay, I'll call you 6 months before that. All right. And then you just basically throw away and you don't call the guy again. No, how about this instead? How about being like, okay, well, that's great. Is your current advisor, have they been working with you on demand programs? Because do we think those costs are going to be going higher? And keep going down and down and down. Energy efficiency. We're going to have some rebate programs. Hopefully, we just had some conversations this week about a rebate, a really cool rebate tool we might be putting in our MSC here soon. Talk about, keep going down a list of different things, and then maybe even trying to cross-sell some of the stuff that we have. It's something to get sticky with the customer before that contract comes up, so that we can show them value before that period. Because you know what, in 6 months, whatever they tell you to call them back on, you know how many other brokers they probably called and they told the same thing. So, and most of those other ones do, they basically say, okay, sure, I'll call you, when you tell me to call you, versus I'm going to keep showing you some value. Maybe it's like, hey, do you mind if I send you periodic market updates? Sure, okay, and then do that. But also, if that's the end of all it comes to you. But the point is finding ways to show value and get sticky, and that's how you are going to grow your business, is by getting sticky with the customer, not being like everybody else and just saying, okay, I'll call you in 6 months before. Okay, turn away, file away, move on. No, it's finding ways to get sticky, asking for referrals, bring all these tools that we provide here at Box, right? None of these things cost you anymore. You still pay the same percentage to us, which to me is a heck of a deal compared to what we bring for you and find ways to help you grow your business. But all these things are here for you. Utilize them. It's a teamwork. Teamwork make the dreams work. So we're here for you guys. We really appreciate all you guys are. In this Thanksgiving time period, Allie and I both, and the rest of the team here at Box, have a lot of gratitude for our customers and this great business and how much fun it is every day to come in here and work with you. So enjoy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll talk to you guys just before Christmas next month.